Hi, I'm Courtney.
And I'm Nate, and welcome to the Mono Poly Couple YouTube channel. What's on the agenda for today?
So today we are talking about money. So this was a question that we got from one of our audience members who emailed us, and I'm surprised we hadn't thought about discussing this beforehand.
Agreed.
So what did you think of it when I first brought up to you the idea of doing an episode on the concept of money in non-monogamous relationships?
Yeah, I thought it was something I never thought about before. That's the honest answer. But we'll explain why as we go along, because we're going to talk about money when your wife or partner is dating someone else. Like, how does that money get allocated? Because I'll give you an example. We have a joint bank account.
Yes.
So that may not be true for everyone, of course, but money that Courtney spends dating is money out of our joint bank account.
Correct.
So what is the
So even though we both have jobs
yes
and contribute financially and in other ways to the household, we still have one joint bank account. I have a business account that you're not on, but other than that, it's everything's joint.
Yeah.
So his question that he asked is similar. He said, it's a man who identifies as poly. His wife is monogamous, so she doesn't date. She works. They have joint accounts, but he feels bad because he wants to be the traditional gentleman. He's in his 50s and wants to, I don't want to say wine and dine, but kind of be generous with these female prospects and feels bad.
And also have more of maybe a traditional gender role where he, as the male in the relationship, pays for everything or pays for almost everything.
Correct.
And so the question, I guess, was, well, what happens? I'm spending money from our joint account on this other partner, not my wife, even though it's money that we've put together for our family. How do you balance that? What do you do in that situation? Because I'm taking money out of our accounts for my girlfriend.
Yeah, well, not necessarily girlfriend, but yes. Nate likes to use girlfriend or boyfriend because it's just a lot easier to say. Easier. So we actually, we had a date?
Yeah.
A couple days ago?
The sauna date, yes.
And we were discussing this over lunch, and we didn't really have a great answer.
No, we did not. Because the question became then to Courtney, if I was dating, right? So she's like, well, if you were dating and I turned to be, I don't know, maybe a little more traditional or whatever, at least, in some respects, or at least thoughts, maybe. And so I would also want to take care of my other partner. I would want to be the person that provides for them or, pays for the dinner or whatever it may be. But then I thought, well, that's money out of our account that we could be using for trips, for our family, for our kids, for our future, for our retirement, whatever it may be. Like the list goes on and on. Yeah. And so I was like, would I really want to then use that money for that? Like, how do you balance that? How do you put that in perspective? Because there is only a finite amount of time and money and energy and effort that you can put into this, universe and this world that we live in. And so how do you want to utilize that? And how do you value those things? I guess that's what I came up with, which was a way of not answering the question.
Not answering the question.
Did not answer the question.
No. And because we went back and forth on, it's adding value to, you providing this experience makes you feel good. Yes. And that makes your other partner feel good or the person you're dating. And then you come back and you feel better. So you're more energetic and contributing to your primary relationship or another relationship. And I think that there is no right way to do it. Right. That's how we would. Yeah. And he also asked in the email, I think he did in this one, who pays for how much money do I contribute, probably on percentage to over the 3+ years that we've been doing this. How much would you say that I spend compared to the man?
Yeah. And we're talking Courtney's other dating when she's dating her other partner. Like how much proportionally does Courtney spend? Is it zero? Like, is she only going to give, like she doesn't want to spend a dime or anything? Or is it like, does she spend 50% or 100%, whatever it may be? Yeah. And so we figured about over the last 3 years, she's probably spent about 40% or so compared to, I guess, the other partners that she's dating. It's probably about 60-ish%. And so I don't think it's even, but it's certainly not like so lopsided that it's, seemingly ridiculous.
I would say that those are men that I've had relationships with.
Yes.
I'd say between 30 and 40% I still pay for. So we're talking train tickets, plane tickets, dinners, gifts,
Even hotels sometimes.
Hotels,
Yeah.
yep, some of those. And I'd say about 60 to 70% is the guy
Yeah.
when I have in a relationship. I will say about probably 80, 90% of the dates I've had, they pay for coffee or dinner or drink or whatever it is when there's a meal or some type of food thing involved, which I appreciate.
Yeah, and I think we also talked about how like it's sort of maybe more the idea of being like whoever asks the other person for the date. Like if, hey, I want to meet, I'm another partner, Courtney, I want to meet you for coffee. So are you then obligated as the person that asked to then pay for it? And we sort of said, well, you could consider it, or you maybe you would want to. But the other option is to talk about that before you go on the date, right? So it's not just like this obligation that the person who asks.
Right.
And so then ultimately then came down to, I had never really just thought about this. Like the things that Courtney does for her dating, yes, I guess they do utilize money from our joint account, but I don't necessarily see money in that way. And that like it's, it has to have a value of everything towards our family or whatever it may be. And there is a trade-off, right? So Courtney does come back a better person and she is energized and excited, and that's great for us and great for our family. But there is a cost. But again, there's going to be a cost to anything that you do, right? So we've discussed this before. Courtney goes on dates with our kids and there's a financial cost to that. There's a time cost to that. Not each kid gets to go each time, right? It's just one-on-one dates. And so no matter what you do, there's going to be a cost. When she does that, she comes back energized because she has a good talk with the kids. The kids are energized. And so again, there is some balance to that. Now we go on, like I said, we were just on a date a couple of days ago. So, we do spend money on ourselves. It's not that we don't. And so we do, overnights, we do dates. And so we're still spending money and time on ourselves. But just what do you do when it is that joint account and there's a cost to it? So.
Yeah, I think talking about what's the real issue underneath it. Like, do I feel like it's unfair if I'm spending money or this person's spending money on somebody else and I believe that money belongs to me? Like, there's no right or wrong answer, but I think it's really important that we address the value that money and spending time or energy or attention represents.
Yeah. And so again, maybe no easy answer. For us, Courtney does, like I said, about 30 to 40% of the cost is usually shared by Courtney when she's dating someone, which is just part of that world that we live in. It's no different if you were not married and, maybe had a joint account, or if you had your own account. Like even if Courtney had her own account, she's still going to be spending some of that money, which could have contributed to, I don't know, a mortgage or retirement, a date, a vacation or whatever. And so there's still going to be a cost, even if the accounts are split, so it doesn't necessarily mean that just because they're joint, that it's any different.
Right, going to solve the problem. Oh, have you subscribed?
Oh, yeah.
We would love it if you subscribed.
Cost you nothing.
Yes.
Just a click.
Just a click.
Helps the channel grow.
It does, and we're so grateful for that. So
we thank you for joining us today and talking a little bit about money and relationships and how that goes. So, and as we always say,
can't stop, won't stop.
Thank you guys.
Bye.